Hello, Ceaseless Challengers, this is Crimson, and you are watching some Dark Souls. Or is it? I'm not even there. That's just because I'm wearing the Ring of Fog, which makes me hardly visible. But we're going to be switching that to the Chloranthy Ring, just because we're maximizing our stamina recovery entirely, using the Mask of the Child, which boosts our stamina recovery speed. We managed to farm that one out. Put on a city helmet for you by killing a bunch of pinwheels back in the Tomb of the Giants. Got a bunch of city hats from them. You also have the Mask of the Mother that you haven't seen. That slightly raises your HP. But we're going to go with maximum stamina recovery between this mask, this ring, and the shield I'm wearing. So you can see how quickly it'll shoot up. And we're picking up where we left off after making sure our game was cleared out almost entirely. We got all of the items that are only one per playthrough pretty much. And so, nothing left to do but kill the final boss.
No, I'm fine.
Although we need you to be awake for that.
Not treat me like an old withering snake.
You sperm monster, you. Wake up. Come on, I need a ride.
I am pleased to see you well. Is it something urgent?
Yes, I have all those souls. So again, you can feed him items if you want to sell them. Or you could talk to him if you really want to.
Very well. Then stay still for a moment.
I could just have him take you to where you want to go. With this lovely transportation tactic. Eating you. He's not a nice sperm monster. Likes eating people all the time. But hey, he's the best sperm monster we got, so for now. So we'll bother with him. You gonna just chew there, guy? Alright, so we can put all of our Lord souls into the Lord vessel. It's a nice look with the Gauntlet of Artorias on, isn't it? So there we have it. Our pathway to Gwyn is open. In this ominous hallway of bright whiteness, with its ghost knights walking through. So, there is another thing we'd like to do before we complete the game, and we're going to equip our Covetous Gold Sipping Ring and our Symbol of Avarice to do it. So we have our maximum item discovery. I forgot how heavy this thing is. Let's lose our shirt for it then. This chest on my head is quite heavy. So there are a lot of Black Knights that like to hang out in this area between you and the final boss. These are the Knights of Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, and surprisingly easy to kill, although they are a bit dodgy. Can be. But you can get yourself a nice Black Knight sword. So you may have remembered me talking about this one and saying that, well, you can pretty much win the game with just this item. So its stats are 220 damage, which as you can tell is quite high in comparison to many of the items I've seen. C strength scaling and E dexterity scaling gives a lot of damage. 300 durability, used to face chaos demons. So this is supposedly has a damage bonus on it related to fighting chaos demons, does a little bit extra damage. And one extra stat about it, you may not notice it weighs 8 as opposed to, say, the 10 that this does. And because of my stats, this, well, we'll try it out here. Pull this one off. So while we fight the rest of the Black Knights here. Now, each of the Black Knights on the trail to the final boss is going to be using a different weapon. So if there's one you don't have, just make sure you're well equipped for it. This is the Greatsword one. So you see, it's not doing quite as much as my other greatsword, just because of the stat scaling. Although we can upgrade that to +5 using our Twinkling Titanite. Try to get a little bit more damage. These guys also have a tendency to drop a lot of Titanite chunks for you. Guess that my health is getting a bit drained from wearing this silly hat for as long as I have been. I'm running through this ash world that's with a scorched sky, which giant coliseum in the middle. A little odd that you have to walk on these strange things to get there. Tiny, tiny little walkways. So you can come and fight me here. Now this one is actually a duplicate of the Black Knight sword wielders. Doesn't have his own unique weapon, but the rest of them will. This guy is just the odd one out, because they want to give you 2 chances at getting the Black Knight Greatsword because of how useful it is. But at this point, we have something better. He just gave us a Tight Knight chunk, so make sure you swing by this area, however precarious it may be, to nab your Black Knight armor. That will get this off our head and show off, so our health stops draining. It is pretty useful, but not the greatest out there. Nice and silent though. It doesn't have a fancy cape, sadly. So these are stats, good poise, pretty lightweight, strong resistance. Not much for poison and curse, but good bleed. And here's what it looks like. Pretty styling, you look just like a Black Knight. And if one of these guys were so kind as to drop us the Black Knight shield, we could go in a full set and look like any of the Black Knights we wanted. But they may not do that for us. Now I gotta remember what I was wearing. Maybe I was doing Artorias and Havel, or Guardian, whatever. We'll go with this for now. Take our weight again. Yep, we're there. We're there. Of course, this helmet has been wearing away at us quite a bit. Quite a bit. But we just have 2 more Black Knights to go before we can enter that lovely arena that we can sneak a peek at, where Gwyn is awaiting us for the final battle. So this guy has the axe and the hops. I'll make sure we don't kick him off the edge, because we do have to pick up the item if he were to drop it for us. Can we get a stagger? Wow. We can get killed, is what we can do. Because we don't have much poise off to block an axe attack, since we're trying to be light without Havel's ring on. But it's a short run back. Short run that we're not going to be wearing this for. Instead, we're going to put on our armor of Artorias, so we can be styling. Actually have enough weight to deal with the attacks of these guys. Since all I want is the shield, I already have the greatsword and the sword, the armor. Don't have the halberd and the axe and the shield, which I believe that second one has a higher chance of dropping the shield, but same with this guy. These 2 are both most likely to drop the shield for you. I don't need it that badly. I have the sword, which is a nice item to hand to newer players who want something to carry them through the game. Its high amount of damage can get you through it. And you can just end up with a ton of them after this. I don't believe I went over its requirements. That's 20 strength and 18 dex, by the way. If you want to use the Black Knight sword, it's very useful. Very powerful. Whoa. Now. So the greatsword guy still likes to tear straight through your stability of your shield, like a big old jerk. And then hit you again. Because why not? Again, even in all my heavy armor that I'm wearing, he's still almost one-shot me. And another greatsword for us, okay. No shield for me just yet. That guy using a greatsword, just like a normal sword, because these Black Knight fellows are quite big. Now I am wearing this particular armor set, so I have a lot of poise going into the final boss fight, which is important. It is a gimmicky boss fight, though there are multiple ways to do it. There's just one way that is clearly the intended way. And if you notice what I just did there, that is how we're going to be killing the boss. Because he's a jerk. Got a sword there, no shield. You know, let's just get the hat we're going to be wearing on. Rely on only the covetous gold serpent ring for drop rate. So, we have quite a lot of stamina recovery, which you'll notice is assisting with my stamina drain, in addition to recovery. Hopefully we'll get a drop from this guy, since this sword, or axe rather, is an extremely powerful item. Maybe the best in the game, maybe not. And we didn't get it. Oh well. And this guy is the wielder of the weapon that a lot of the people who speedrun the game seem to like. Ow. I don't have enough poise, do I? Well, that's a little tough. It is the halberd, as you can see. He's holding like a spear, just a sharp thing on a stick. I find it to be a bit slow. And he didn't drop the two we didn't have, and they dropped a bunch that we did have, those jerks. Alright. So, let's see if we can find it. So we have the 3 of 4 rings here. The Hawk ring I don't think I showed. It is right behind the giant blacksmith Onomix boss weapons. This is Go's ring. Hawk ring belonged to Hawkeye and Goff, who led the Great Archers. Increases your bow's range, which can be pretty useful. But the one we're going to be using is Wolf's ring. So we make sure we have the maximum amount of poise. We're going in with 85, just to be sure. So level 79 going into our final boss fight. The one ring we're missing of the 4 of Gwyn's knights is Ornstein's, since we killed Smo this playthrough. And here's Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. No fancy cinematics or anything. Yep. So that's right. Gwyn can be parried. Then you can do extra damage to him if you have the counter boost ring equipped. And he is pretty relentless. So parrying him is quite helpful, and you can see it does a lot of damage. And if you time it right, it's a pretty simple fight. So that grab attack that I'm dodging away from, that's why we have the poise, by the way, so when he does that 2-swing attack, you're not staggered, and can immediately transition into your next parry on a second swing. He will grab you and explode your face, so be careful of that one. I want to make sure you roll away because you can't block it and parry it. But otherwise, once you learn that you can parry him, he's a pretty simple guy to take out. And there's your final boss, with parry. Sure, you practice your parry. And then you get his soul, which you have 2 options. You can either link the fire using his soul, or you can walk away and keep it for yourself. We shall be linking the fire. I'm gonna look silly with my mask on. Oh well. Hot, hot. It's burning. Why? I saved the world for this? No. Why don't all the other bonfires do that? Shiny. And Shade to Darkness. And that's the entirety of Dark Souls. I don't think of a thing I missed, really. A few things I didn't show, but completed the game. There are a few items we didn't show you, because one, you know, you got to beat the game 3 times to get all the gear, but Dark Souls. Now this is a game I enjoy almost every single time I play it. There are those few moments that I really, really hate. Those design choices that bug me so much. I just wish they weren't there. I'd be able to play this game a lot more and enjoy it if those weren't there. Like the invisible ledges, or having to walk up that tiny little pathway that was hard to see. Then the open sandboxy nature of it, where you can decide which way you can go. But only that's a lie, because you have to get to the Lord Vessel in order to get past the orange fog walls to defeat the Great Lords. So, those things aside, great game. There's all this character progression and customization that's also weighted against upgrading your gear and such. So you can either spend your souls on getting upgrades for your character's stats, which will help you beat the game, or on upgrading your gear that can make you beat the game, or getting the stats to wear different sets of armor and be agile, or just wear nothing and be agile all the time. There's all kinds of ways you can play this game, and every boss can be defeated in pretty much any way. The only one who's a bit particular about it would be Calamite, who doesn't have a whole lot of ways you can beat him. Can't really tank him out without being a ridiculous soul level for him. And even Gwyn can be defeated by rolling, hitting him, rolling, and hitting him, but we use the parry tactic, because we practice it. Again, it's the gameplay of it. If you want to be a caster, you can be a caster. There's 3 different kinds of caster you can be. A miracle caster with faith, a intelligence caster with catalyst and sorceries, or a pyromancy caster, who you just have to dedicate all your stats into your pyromancy flame to get more damage out of that. Pyromancy, very strong in early playthroughs, since you don't have to upgrade stats for it. Then there's being tanky, using heavy armor, which worked for us with high vitality, high endurance, using heavy armor all the time. High strength, just doing a ton of damage with heavy swords, using high dexterity weapons, or using bows, using ranged tactics. All these gameplay options really make this game great for me. And of course, quite good looking. And all the variety, not only in gameplay, but in enemies and environments. We were running around in lava with giant dinosaur chicken zombie things. And then we were fighting trees. We were fighting headless statues, or normal statues, or a lot of statues, actually, to kill in this game. Trees. A lot of trees to kill. Even bosses. Dragons. Can't forget the dragons we were slaying. Walking clams with odd can legs. Hydras. There's a lot of enemies here. People. Gargoyles. Goat demons. Bull demons. Knights in shining armor. Centipedes. Just all kinds of things to fight and kill. And it has a very interesting set of multiplayer to it. You can get your friends to play with you through a hoop, although I'd like to see that engaged in a better means of jolly cooperation, or some kind of roguelike-esque, or cooperative-esque multiplayer things you can do that give the game a lot more replayability, like missions or events they could go on, but we'll see. They're saying that they want to focus on the single player a bit more for Dark Souls 2, which I'll be buying and playing on this channel, so look forward to that. I know I'm quite excited for it. However many delays, and whenever it'll be released, I'll be playing it quite a bit. Otherwise, that's going to be it. Thank you so very much for watching. And my hat is off to you.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.